Did you see this video of Elon Musk reporting on what's going on at the southern border? Listen to this nonsense. Watch.
So here we are at Eagle Pass. I think with that, I see this sort of just a kind of a group over there that's coming in. So it's I don't know if you could really see it. I'll try to switch it around. Well, I can't really switch around too. Anyway, that's like, I don't know if you can sort of see that group, but that's a group there.
First of all, this is supposed to be the smartest man in the world, and he doesn't know how to turn his camera around. Also, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, has become a place to go for misinformation, especially about immigrants, and now he's just going down there and doing it firsthand. And he didn't even say anything. He was just like, look, people crossing. Also, remember, about a year ago, a story was put out that Elon Musk was undocumented. He overstayed his visa and he lied on his paperwork, which means he actually should have been barred from being a U.S. citizen. And of course, because he's white and a billionaire, nobody cared and they still allowed him to become a citizen. If Elon Musk wanted to help, he could actually do more than just go down to the southern border. He can give away his money. Elon Musk is worth $248 billion, which is more than a lot of countries in Latin America. But really, he's just down there to spread misinformation because Republicans are all giddy about sending the military into Mexico to help with the cartel and the immigration problem, when really all they want is the lithium. And who's going to benefit from that? Elon Musk, the guy who needs lithium for his Tesla batteries. So this guy always has an agenda that helps himself.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about the border because Elon Musk became an independent journalist on X and went down to the border and recorded himself at the border trying to see exactly what the issue is, okay? Because we have a record number of illegals entering this country, okay? I think there's upwards of 10 to 11,000 a day, okay? Illegals coming into the country per day at the southern border. Okay, and the Biden administration refuses to do anything about it, right? They refuse to do anything about it. And the politicians that do want to do something about it, they want a strong border. They want to close the border. They want to shut down the border. Those are the ones that are being blamed for the looming government shutdown because, again, they don't want to continue to fund a government that can't even do something as basic as shut down and close the border and to stop this record wave of illegal immigration.
Millions of Americans, their paychecks, and the government as a whole now 2 days away from a potential shutdown. Rachel Scott leading us off on the Hill tonight.
Tonight, with millions of Americans, including military families and Border Patrol officers, in danger of losing their paychecks if the government shuts down in just 2 days, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy struggling to make a deal with hard-right Republicans. McCarthy saying if those renegade Republicans support a short-term bill to fund the government, he'll add stepped-up measures to police the border. But tonight, those holdouts unmoved.
Do you believe McCarthy has the votes if he puts that CR on the floor tomorrow?
No, he doesn't.
It will fail.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, negotiations within the GOP growing heated.
There are still some Republicans who say they're not going to vote for any short-term deal.
Did you ask them why they would? Why would they side with Biden on an open border when we have an opportunity to do something? Are they doing it for that reason? Are they doing it for personal reasons? Doing big chaos?
Tonight, the Department of Homeland Security warning a shutdown would force some 20,000 Border Patrol officers to work without pay. Federal money that helps local communities cope with the surge of migrants would dry up. Local officials like the mayor of Laredo, Texas, warning an already dangerous situation would get even worse.
If the shutdown happens by this Friday, I'll have to issue a declaration of emergency for our city. We can't have the lack of security for our border.
For a second day in a row, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell rebuking his fellow Republicans in the House.
Shutting down the government is a choice, and it's a choice that would make the crisis at our southern border even worse.
Senate Democrats, meanwhile, flat out refusing to go along with McCarthy's plan.
If we need to put on the table some border security measures, we should take the next 2 months to figure out exactly what that is, rather than throwing something together in an afternoon and jamming it into this bill.
Yeah, so the continuing resolution did not pass, okay? It was put on the floor today to vote, okay, and it failed, which means that we're probably going to face a shutdown. Now, this is a complicated situation because what is happening, okay, is that the Democrats and Republicans need to agree on allowing the government to spend more money, okay? And the deadline is tomorrow night, Saturday night, before the government starts to shut down. Now, what House Republicans want, okay, we're talking about Kevin McCarthy's group, is that they've essentially cut spending, okay, and they've imposed some border security measures, mainly having to do with border technology, and they want to send that bill to the Senate and have Democrats vote on it. However, Democrats have indicated that they're going to reject that, okay, and Biden says if that bill comes to his desk, he's going to reject it. He's going to veto it. But the problem is that Republicans, Kevin McCarthy's Republican-led group, can't even get that bill out of the House because there are more hardline Republicans who don't feel like Kevin McCarthy's bill goes far enough in regards to cutting spending and securing the border. So now you have the Senate trying to come up with a bipartisan solution to continue to fund the government as the House tries to figure out a way past the GOP hardliners who are stopping the House from basically getting out any bills into the Senate that would keep the government functioning. Again, it's pretty complicated stuff, okay? But rest assured, I believe that the government may shut down for a short little while, but it will eventually get funded, okay? And I would rather see more spending cuts, okay, and more security at the border than not, right? And I think that we can get that considering the leverage that we have in the current state of this country when it comes to inflation and the border, two of the biggest issues in the country. So, again, a lot of political stuff going on here. But in the meantime, you have AOC, who didn't take too kindly to this photo of Elon Musk going to the border with a Representative Tony Gonzalez. He says the House is holding important votes in D.C. tonight. People are scrambling to avoid a shutdown, but this Republican congressman decided to skip town to joyride with a billionaire when his own party has just a single-digit margin and needs to vote. Yeah, so again, AOC is throwing a hissy fit over Elon Musk. Okay, that means that she must like him or something, right? According to her own logic. But that brings me to her squad colleague, okay? Her socialist comrade here, Miss Ayanna Pressley, who's going to do this interview with Jake Tapper on CNN. And Jake Tapper, even the mainstream liberal media, being a Democrat Party propagandist that he is, even he can see that the border is not secure. However, in this interview, she is going to state that the border is secure, and that's going to shock Jake Tapper because that statement is just so ridiculous that, again, even CNN has to push back on this level of just blatant gaslighting here from the Democrats. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So Republicans' biggest criticism of the bipartisan Senate spending bill, this compromise that's being worked over on the other side of Capitol Hill, is that it does not contain additional funding for border security. Right now, the U.S. is facing a crisis at the border, and this historic wave of Venezuelan migrants crossing into the U.S. The U.S. cannot deport most of them, or any of them really, because of the frosty diplomatic relations with Venezuela. We
can deport them, right? We can deport them, okay? I mean, I'm just saying. You ain't got to drop them off in Venezuela, but you can drop them off around Venezuela, okay? I'm just saying, we can deport them.
7.7 million people have fled Venezuela. There's no sign this is slowing down. Do you agree that something needs to be done about our border, that it's just not sustainable? I mean, we see, these governors, and I'm sure you disapprove of the tactic, but they're sending migrants into places like Massachusetts, like New York, not like California, and these cities are having trouble keeping up. The Republican governors say things like, we're just giving you a taste of what we have to deal with.
Well, I certainly disagree with any people, and certainly our most vulnerable who are fleeing great destabilization and violence and corruption from being used as political pawns. No doubt about it, our border is secure, and we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and we have to fix a broken system.
Wait,
and we also
you think it is secure? You think the border is secure, or it is not secure?
I believe that we are in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and there needs to be federal investment to support those migrant families. And I work with a number of those community-based organizations on the ground, and they need more support. They need more federal support.
Yeah, so Jake Tapper here is shocked as I am, right? You have a sitting congresswoman who can literally see thousands of illegals pouring over the border per day. We have a record amount coming to this country, and she can sit here with a straight face and a bald head and say, oh yeah, the border's secure, right? We just need to throw more money at the illegals, right? This is what she's saying. Even Jake Tapper's like, bruh, come on. Even Jake Tapper's, don't make me do this, right? Don't make me have to attack my own team because y'all ain't living in reality.
This is a humanitarian crisis, and it's the consequence of a number of longstanding broken policies that are very consequential for asylum seekers, TPS holders, and DACA recipients writ large. But that is a conversation for another day.
Sure, I don't disagree with this being a humanitarian crisis at all, but just to get some clarity on this, and sure, that's a conversation for another day, but do you think that the border is secure? Is that what you said?
This man is in disbelief, bro. He asked her like 3 times, right? He's in such disbelief. Again, I am too. But again, this is how I feel when I hear Democrats say all types of crazy stuff. Like, for example, men can be women and women can be men. This is, again, if he had the same type of reaction to when Democrats make those type of claims, okay, our mainstream liberal media would actually be somewhat credible, right? But again, this is so ridiculous what she's saying, right? And so grounded, not in reality, that again, even Jake Tapper is shocked, right? He's shocked and taken aback. He's flabbergasted at, again, the delusion from this woman who, again, has a smirk on her face while telling a flat out lie about the border. It's crazy.
Yes, the border is secure, and we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis that has been created by a broken system. Wow. And in the meantime, we need federal investment to support my constituents and those who call the MA 7th home writ large, which is why we need to prevent a government shutdown. I want to center the humanity, the dignity, the safety, and the needs of everyone, which is why we should not have a government shutdown. It will be deeply consequential. It will create a dire situation for families, many that are already struggling.
But if you have millions of undocumented migrants coming into the country, how is the border secure?
Jake, this is not a new crisis. It does require more political will and commitment. It is a humanitarian crisis. We should treat it as such. And again, representing one of the most diverse constituencies in the country. And in fact, I chair the House Haiti Caucus. I represent the 3rd largest Haitian diaspora.
Nobody gives a damn about this, right? Nobody gives a damn about the diversity of your district and who you answer the damn question. How is the border secure when you have millions of illegals coming into the country? Come on now.
In the country, and what I see on the ground is community-based organizations and municipalities who need federal support.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, except for the idea that the border is secure. I mean, if you have people crossing the border, it's just by definition not secure. If you have people coming to the United States, in fact, I mean, one of the arguments being made, and I think it's an argument worth considering, is that because our border is so porous, millions of people make this very unsafe journey. Millions of people give money to people who prey on them, coyotes, and take them on these journeys to cross into the United States, preying on them, vulnerable people. And that's because the border is not secure. Because it is not secure, they go on this journey. And one of the arguments that is made, and maybe you disagree with it, is that the border should be secure so as to discourage people from making this journey. So that if people want to try to come to the United States and declare asylum and seek asylum, they go through the proper corridors and not just try to cross illegally. But it just seems like just such a refusal to acknowledge reality just to say that the border is secure when we all know millions of people are crossing the border illegally every year.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, okay? Jake sounds like a full-blown MAGA Republican, okay? Somebody get this man a MAGA hat, right? Somebody send Jake Tapper a MAGA hat because he sound like Trump, right? He sound like Trump. He making some strong Republican arguments right there for closing the border. Ain't it amazing? That, you know how, that's how the problem is bad, right? The problem is so bad that, again, this guy Jake Tapper is making MAGA arguments for closing the border versus a progressive who clearly is not grounded in reality, right? I mean, even he acknowledged that, yeah, you're not living in reality if you think that the border is secure, okay? I mean, this is, I wish they would do this on a lot more issues than this, right? I wish they would do this more often where they would just straight up tell the Democrats you're delusional, right? Which is basically what's happening right here.
Jake, and that is a consequence of a number of things. We have climate refugees, people that have been disabled in regions that are destabilized by extreme weather events.
Sure.
We have people that are violence and corruption.
Yep.
And so we just have to acknowledge why someone would leave their native country and their family and risk so much. It is
because the border's open. Dummy, right? Even Jake Tapper is saying that. The reason why is because the border's open.
100%.
Because they are and
yeah.
Asylum is a human right. And so we must do better and more by TPS holders.
Where does asylum been a human right? Right? When has it been a human right for somebody to come up to somebody else's country and say, hey, I demand that you take me in? Right? Doesn't matter what the reason. I demand that you take me. I demand that you let me live here. Where has that been a human right? Again, these people are delusional, bro. Anything that they agree with is a human right, right? That's according to these people right here, okay? But again, if you ask these same people about the human rights of the unborn, well, they throw that out the window, right? It's totally fine to take away the human right to be born, okay? But the human right to seek asylum, though, 100% legit.
By DACA recipients and asylum seekers, and we must do more and better by those who already call this country home, who stand to really struggle if there is a Republican government shutdown that could have been avoided if the Republicans knew how to govern. But instead, they lead from a place of contempt, callousness, and cluelessness, and they continue to play to the most extreme parts of their base, political gamesmanship, playing with people's lives. And I'm not here for it. And that is also why, given how many people are struggling, I'm calling on the to not resume student loan payments October 1st if we are in a government shutdown.
Okay. It sounds like in there you acknowledged that there are millions of people crossing the border illegally, which would mean that the border is not secure. But I mean, I don't disagree with any of the points you made about these people are trying to seek better lives and they're escaping all sorts of horrible things. But would you grant me the point that the border is not secure?
Jake, that is a conversation for another day. Right now, I'm squarely focused on preventing a government shutdown. And if there is one,
all right. Democratic Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts.
Yo. Wow. That was brutal, bruh. But Jake, this is Democrat Party, bruh. This is the party that you cape for. This isn't the only situation where these people are literally delusional, right? They're not living in reality. On most issues, they're not in touch with reality, but they don't get called out enough for it, right? So yeah, like I said, you see what's happening here, okay? You got some Democrats, again, they believe that the border is secure. Again, this is, and she wasn't talking about Republicans not being able to govern. How can you govern when you can't even acknowledge what is a basic fact, right? You can't even acknowledge basic facts, but you want to talk about who can govern and who can't govern. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.